As we gather together, we acknowledge that the land upon which our church and homes exist is the ancestral land stolen from the people of the Shoshone-Bannock, the Shoshone-Paiute, Coeur d'Alene, Kootenai, and Nez Perce nations, along with many other tribes whose names have been lost in history. We acknowledge that our presence here today is founded upon the exclusions and erasures of many indigenous peoples. With this acknowledgement, we wish to demonstrate our ongoing commitment to the work of dismantling the legacies of settler colonialism. We honor indigenous peoples' connection to the land and support their right to sovereignty.
Good morning. Welcome to the Boise Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. We are a community gathered to nurture spiritual growth, real connection, and faithful action for a better world. I am Rachel Murphy, and I am your celebrant for this morning. All who join us in a spirit of curiosity, love, and justice are welcome here. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your life's journey, your presence here is a blessing. Whether you are here every Sunday, or just occasionally, or this is your very first Sunday, you are welcome here. Let's all turn around and welcome our virtual community. We know you're out there, and we are very, very grateful that you are with us as well today. It takes a lot of courage to cross this threshold or to log in and enter a new community. So to all of those of you who are newcomers today, you are very welcome, and we are especially glad that you've joined us. We invite you to introduce yourselves here after the service, or if you're online in the chat, and fill out a newcomer card so that you can get information about what is happening in our fellowship. I have a few announcements about upcoming events to highlight for everyone. First, for our young people who are here with us in the sanctuary today, we have no religious exploration outside of the sanctuary, but we do have our prayer ground, which is over here in the northwest corner of the sanctuary. There's an activity cart that has activities for you, and there's interactive orders of service. Really, anyone can get that. If you want something to fiddle or draw on, please feel free to go to our activity cart. I want to thank our hosts of our hospitality room, which is right out that door and through into our new hospitality room. Today, our hosts are Patty Hedges and Julia Pope. Thank you to them for staying after the service and providing some food and coffee for everyone to enjoy. There is a retrospective of Martin Wilkie's art and an art sale, which will be on Saturday, August 26th from 2 to 5 p.m. There's a $5 entry donation, and that includes a raffle ticket for a chance to win one of his pen and ink drawings. And if you're interested in what his drawings look like, you can see there's a new one right here above the piano. There also are samples and books in the hospitality room that you could look at after the service. We have a celebration of life for Sue Stadler, and that is next Sunday, August 20th, here in the sanctuary at 3 p.m. I'm going to highlight our upcoming August worship services as well. Next week, we have Spirituality and Drag with special guest Bonnie Violet and other friends. And then on August 27th, we have a multi-generational back-to-school service, Liberating Curiosity. There's going to be a gathering afterwards as well. If you would like to donate books, which the youth can pick out and choose to take one home, And especially if you would like to donate banned books, you may do so either by bringing a book to the office and leaving it on the table that's in the office, or if you want to purchase books online, you can direct them to be delivered here to the church. Our fellowship donates 25% of our unpledged plate offering to support a local organization whose mission aligns with our social justice ministries. For the month of August, that ministry is Brown Like Me, a place of belonging for Black youth in the Treasure Valley. Brown Like Me holds monthly club meetings and other regular events to provide Black youth with activities that build self-esteem and expose them to Black culture. They also offer a forum for parents of Black youth to share their experiences in a safe setting, and for adoptive parents to learn about the importance of cultivating ties to their child's culture. There are many ways that you can give if you wish. You can go online on our website, you can use the Vanco app, or in person using our drop boxes, which are at either end of the sanctuary. However you choose to give, you nurture our community, and we are grateful. Before we move into worship mode, just a reminder to turn your cell phones to silent or worship mode. We are very lucky today to have Sharene Watsen as our guest preacher. She will be speaking to us about cultivating a spirit of gratefulness in our everyday lives. We also are lucky to have Michael Alvarado and Tyler McFarlane, who will be singing and playing guitar and this crazy thing, which is a pedal steel guitar that I had never seen before. And if you love it, Tyler's band is going to be playing later today at Green Acres from 5 to 8 p.m.
Let us take a moment to breathe together, to collectively enter this time of worship. As I read our centering poem before ringing the bowl, you might consider the thous and the thines to be a seemingly mundane or unremarkable moment in your life which you are nevertheless grateful. Thou art the song of my heart in the morning. Thou art the dawn of truth in my soul. Thou art the dew of the roses adorning. Thou art the woven whole. Thine is the grace to be steadfast in danger. Thine is the peace that none can destroy. Thine is the face of the need-driven stranger. Thine are the wings of joy. Thou art the deep, to the deep in me calling. Thou art a lamp where my feet shall tread. Thy way is steep past the peril of falling. Thou art my daily bread. Thine be the praise of my spirit uplifted. Thou art the sea to each flowing stream. Thine be the days that are gathered and sifted. Thou art the deathless dream.
So obviously I didn't write this one, right? But I want you to think about arrowroot popping in the foothills. I also want you to think about our kiddos who are also growing where they need to grow. So this one's for Junie. wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. Sail away, kill off the hours. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away and find you a lover. Go away somewhere all bright and new. I have seen no other who compares with you. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. You belong with your love on your arm. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away and find you a lover. Run away, let your heart be your guide. And you deserve the deepest of cover. You belong in that home by and by. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong somewhere close to me, far away from your troubles and worry. You belong somewhere you feel free. You belong somewhere you are free.
Thank you, Michael and Tyler, for that beautiful rendition of a song that I love. At this hour, in small towns and big cities, in living rooms and ornate sanctuaries, many of our sibling Unitarian Universalists are also lighting a flaming chalice, reminding us that we are part of a great community of faith. Today, we have a young chalice lighter with us, Greta Watsen, daughter of Sharene and Lori. We invite a child to light the chalice to recognize the children and youth in our community, our responsibility to them, and the future we're building together. As Greta lights the chalice here in the sanctuary, I invite those of you in our virtual community who have a chalice nearby to go ahead and light yours, and you can share in the chat where your chalice is lit. Thank you, Greta. with our collective chalices lit in all our spaces, we offer you this call to worship from Layla Chatti. This is an excerpt from I Went Out to Hear.
The sound of quiet. The sky indigo, steeping deeper from the top, like tea.
In the absence of anything else, my breathing became obscene.
I heard the beating of bats' wings before the air troubled above my head. Turned to look and saw they were gone.
On the surface of the black lake, a swan and the moon stayed perfectly still.
I knew this was a perfect moment. I knew how lucky I was to have lived a life I would die for.
Come, let us worship together. As we move into our time for all ages, I would like to invite the children or young at heart, whoever wants to sit on the floor, to come up front as we're going to share our video. And the video today is a PBS Kids presentation, which is by the illustrator of the book, Last Stop on Market Street.
Last Stop on Market Street, written by Matt Della Pena and illustrated by me. If we look at the cover of this book, we see a boy and a lady, and they're waiting for a bus at a bus stop. If you open the whole jacket, you see the whole bus. All right, should we begin? All right. Last Stop on Market Street. CJ pushed through the church doors, skipped down the steps. The outside air smelled like freedom, but it also smelled like rain, which freckled CJ's shirt and dripped down his nose. He ducked under his Nana's umbrella, saying, "How come we gotta wait for the bus in all this wet?" "Trees get thirsty too," his Nana told him. "Don't you see that big one drinking through a straw?" CJ looked for a long time, but never saw a straw. Can you see a straw? From the bus stop, he watched water pool on flower petals, watched rain patter against the windshield of a nearby car. His friend Colby climbed in, gave CJ a wave, and drove off with his dad. "Nana, how come we don't got a car?" "Boy, what do we need a car for? We got a bus that breathes fire. And old Mr. Dennis, who always has a trick for you." The bus creaked to a stop in front of them. It sighed and sagged, and the doors swung open. "What's that I see?" Mr. Dennis asked. He pulled a coin from behind CJ's ear, placed it in his palm. Nana laughed her deep laugh and pushed CJ along. They sat right up front. The man across the way was tuning a guitar. An old woman with curlers had butterflies in a jar. Nana gave everyone a great big smile and a "good afternoon." She made sure that CJ did the same. The bus lurched forward and stopped, lurched forward and stopped. Nana hummed as she knit. "How come we always gotta go here after church?" CJ said. "Miguel and Kobe never have to go nowhere." "I feel sorry for those boys," she told him. "They'll never get a chance to meet Bobo or the Sunglass Man, and I hear Trixie got herself a brand new hat." CJ stared out the window, feeling sorry for himself. He watched cars zip by on either side, watched a group of boys hop curbs on a bike. A man climbed aboard with a spotted dog. CJ gave up his seat. "How come that man can't see?" "Boy, what do you know about seeing?" Nana told him. Some people watch the world with their ears. That's a fact. Their noses too, the man said, sniffing the air. That's a mighty fine perfume you're wearing today, ma'am. Nana squeezed the man's hand and laughed her deep laugh. Two older boys got on next. CJ watched as they moved on by and stood in the back. Sure wish I had one of those, he said. Nana set down her knitting. What for? You got the real-life thing sitting across from you. Why don't you ask the man if he'll play us a song? CJ didn't have to. The guitar player was already plucking strings and beginning to sing. To feel the magic of music, the blind man whispered, I like to close my eyes. Nana closed hers too. So did CJ and the spotted dog. And in the darkness, the rhythm lifted CJ out of the bus, out of the busy city. He saw sunset color swirling over crashing waves, saw a family of hawks slicing through the sky, saw the old woman's butterflies dancing free in the light of the moon. CJ's chest grew full, and he was lost in the sound, and the sound gave him the feeling of magic. The song ended, and CJ opened his eyes. Everyone on the bus clapped, even the boys in the back. Nana glanced at the coin in CJ's palm. CJ dropped it in the man's hat. Last stop on Market Street, Mr. Dennis called. CJ looked around as he stepped off the bus. Crumbling sidewalks and broken down doors, graffiti-tagged windows and boarded-up stores. He reached for his Nana's hand. How come it's always so dirty over here? She smiled and pointed to the sky. Sometimes when you're surrounded by dirt, CJ, you're a better witness for what's beautiful. CJ saw the perfect rainbow arching over the soup kitchen. He wondered how his Nana always found beautiful where he never even thought to look. He looked all around them again, at the bus rounding the corner out of sight, at the broken street lamps still lit up bright, and the stray cat shadows moving across the wall. Can you see the rainbow? When he spotted their familiar faces in the window, he said, I'm glad we came. He thought his Nana might laugh her deep laugh, but she didn't. She patted him on the head and told him, Me too, CJ. Now come on. And that is the story of Last Stop on Market Street. What is my favorite part about Last Stop on Market Street? That is a really hard question to answer because I think this whole book is actually very special to me. It's very close to my heart because I was actually raised by my grandmother. She was my caregiver and we didn't have a car growing up and we took the bus everywhere. So I'd say my favorite part of this book is just being able to share it with my grandmother.
You guys can think about what the favorite part of that book was for you. And as you return back to your families at your seats, we are going to sing you a community blessing.
May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace.
A few weeks ago, I took my daughter Rose to Taylor Swift's Eras Tour concert in Santa Clara, California. Yes, I hear a whoop. Yes. For those you who weren't whooping and maybe who have only the vaguest notion of who Taylor Swift is, here is all you need to know for purposes of this reflection. Taylor Swift is a singer, songwriter, performer, producer, businesswoman, genius. Her current tour is called the Eras Tour because she sings multiple songs from almost every one of her 10 albums/eras. Her fans are called Swifties. All right, that's all you need to know. Being a Swiftie myself, as I prepared for Rose and my pilgrimage, I figured that I would have many easy opportunities to fill my daily gratitude posts. What I didn't anticipate was that one of my posts would be about waiting in line. Yes, waiting in line, something that I, a person who has become acquainted with patience only recently, and the mother of a person who, well, is a teenager, was not at all looking forward to. But here's the thing. Swifties know that the Eras Tour experience is about much more than scream singing along with Taylor as she shakes it off right there, live and in person in front of you. The Eras Tour experience is about reading tips and tricks on Reddit and YouTube about how to get tickets in the first place. The Eras Tour experience is about picking out a concert outfit that represents your favorite album or song. The Eras Tour experience is about previewing the set list on Spotify for weeks before the concert as you drive to and from work. And the Eras Tour experience is about waiting in line. What line, you may ask? This was an event that sold out an entire football stadium, so we waited in a lot of lines. We waited in line first for the chartered bus that took us and many other Swifties from downtown San Francisco to the stadium in Santa Clara. And as we waited, a Swiftie behind us took one look at Rose in her lavender ball gown and exclaimed, "I have the exact color to bedazzle your hair." And she pulled out a bedazzler, which is kind of looks like a paper hole puncher, and proceeded to stamp a dozen tiny lavender hearts throughout Rose's hair. We waited in our bus in the bottlenecked line of traffic to enter the parking lot. And as we waited, a Swiftie from the back of the bus shouted up to the bus driver, "Could you please play some music?" But instead, the bus driver, whom I'm convinced either was or quickly became a Swiftie himself, said to her, "Why don't you just come up here and take my mic and lead everyone in a sing-along?" And that is what she did. We waited in a few more lines to get through security, to go to the bathroom, to get some nachos. You get the idea. But none of these lines held a candle to the mother of all lines, the merchandise line. We waited in the merchandise line for two $35 concert t-shirts for an hour and a half. Yes, an hour and a half. And I enjoyed every minute of it. I enjoyed standing in the cool shade instead of sitting in our seats, which at that point were in the blazing sun. I enjoyed eating my vegetarian nachos. I enjoyed holding my daughter's plate while she ate her chicken burrito and salsa dribbled down her chin. I enjoyed standing next to my daughter, who is 13, and who won't always want to be standing next to her mom in line. I enjoyed watching the costumes passing by, sequins and fringe, a white tutu, cardigans, flannel, cowboy boots, cowboy hats, cowboy everything, and one guy who was a horse, to name a few. I enjoyed talking with the 2 Gen Z women behind us, a demographic with which I have minimal interaction, learning about their schools, their jobs, their friendship, learning that one of them didn't even want any merch. She was just standing in line so she could spend more time with her friend. I enjoyed the many Swifties, who, seeing that my daughter had made some beaded friendship bracelets, raised their forearms, which were themselves covered in friendship bracelets, and said, "Take one, take whichever one you want." In her sermon today, Sharene is going to talk to us about cultivating gratefulness for everyday living. Every moment we live is a moment to notice, to savor. Every moment is the one time we are going to have that moment given to us. It is my hope that in the future, when I find myself waiting in line, I will take a cue from the Swifties. Waiting in line is part of the experience. You may not always get a beaded bracelet, but you will always have the chance to be dazzled. Each week, we take a moment to acknowledge the many joys among us and to grieve our many sorrows and losses so that we might lift that burden for each other. It is through sharing with one another that we forge deep bonds of community and connection. As we begin, please hold the family, friends, and all of those whose lives were touched by longtime member Sue Stadler in your hearts. If Sue were here, I know she would have helped clean up everything after the service, and she would have been one of the last ones here to leave before making sure that everything was done. I also would like to acknowledge the devastating wildfires in Hawaii, on Maui and the Big Island, and all of those who have lost loved ones, homes, businesses, and communities. If you are holding someone in your heart this morning, I invite you to speak their name aloud into this community of love, that we may hold them with you. May the arms of this community hold all of our joys and sorrows, those named and those that remain silent in our hearts. May we feel the grace that surrounds us and be transformed by the spirit of life and love, with warmth to celebrate our joys and gentleness to soothe our aching hearts. Breathe with me. Fill your body with breath. Breathe into this sacred space. Breathe with this beloved community filled with loving kindness. And listen to what is calling you in the silence.
We missed an opportunity to play Shake It Off instead. Like we should have, or Blank Space. I don't know. When it comes to gratitude, I often have a blank space. So the first song was Tom Petty, and this one here was a moment of gratitude for me and Gavin, my son, going to go see camp over at Outlaw Field, and one of our favorite places to go is Stanley and Redfish Lake. And although camp may have not written this about Redfish Lake, this is where I go in my mind. So you're welcome to go there with me or us. Be my mind, don't like to think for myself all of the time. And be my soul, look into these eyes like no one before. And be my life, sunrise laughing 'cause we stayed up all night. Be my map, we'll leave with all the treasure we can grab. Oh, be my lake, the summer sand and a strawberry milkshake. And be my pride, stay under my skin, don't let me take what is not mine. And be my house, strong and sturdy, far from town. Be my home, just think of all the places we'll go. Be my blood, I'd shoot the moon, wouldn't be enough. Be my books, head on your shoulder with damn good looks. Be my hands, I'll paint your picture best I can. And be my heart, I've got you in the end, and I wish I had you from the start.
Thank you so much, you too. In December 2019, a longtime patient of mine gave me a daily planner and calendar for the holidays. Well, the thought was lovely and sweet. I didn't know what I was going to do with it because I put all of my appointments and such in my calendar on my phone. Then I remembered I had seen the daily gratitude posts from Rachel Murphy on Facebook. And I had heard how gratitude can really change your state of mind. So I thought, aha, I will try keeping a gratitude journal. Most of us have probably heard that gratitude is good for us on many levels. If we pay attention and scan the world for the positive and work on being genuinely grateful, neurotransmitters are stimulated that can rewire our brains. Gratitude can help us feel calmer, brighter, happier, healthier, and more. It provides mental, physical, emotional, and social benefits. It is good for our hearts, our relationships, our sleep, and it reduces stress. So, every night before I go to bed, I mentally scan through my day and think about what I am grateful for from that day. I take a moment to reflect and savor these moments and then write them down. It is the most consistent spiritual practice I do daily. And I do think my brain is somehow being rewired as a result of this. I find myself smiling and feeling calmer and happier as I write things down. Sometimes I write down just a short phrase, and sometimes I write several thoughts. As you can imagine, some days it's much easier to think about what I'm grateful for than others. That being said, I have never had a day that there wasn't something I was grateful for, even on the more mundane or harder days. When I take time to reflect, there are always things or moments in my day that inspire gratitude. The dedicated time to stop, think, and reflect really helps me pay attention and allows me to let the moments or things I am grateful for really sink into my being. Experiences with my kids often make it into the journal. Skiing fresh powder together and finding a path through the trees, reading together in the yard, riding bikes in the foothills, and seeing their skills and confidence grow. Some days, when parenting has been challenging, it's helpful and healthy to remember these lovely moments that we had that day, no matter how small. That morning hug, a shared smile, a creation they were excited to show me. Remembering these small things really does help me feel more connected to them, especially when they are driving me crazy, like when I've had to ask them 8 times to get their clothes on and get dressed and ready for the day, and I feel like I have exhausted all of my patience. Being grateful for and remembering the simple, ordinary moments I have with each of them enhances our relationships. I often reflect on moments I spent in nature, the beautiful sunset, the time to get out for a hike, the smell of the pine trees in the mountains, the beautiful snow. If I am intentionally mindful and paying attention, I will notice things that otherwise would have just passed me by. The bug climbing on the flower in my neighborhood walk, the leaf that has so many beautiful colors, the increasing number of monarchs I saw this summer. Tuning in to what is around helps me appreciate and take delight in life. My son Conley has really helped me see things and pay attention. He sees everything and has helped me notice, enjoy, and be grateful for many things I would have otherwise missed if I hadn't slowed down. Many days, I reflect on moments that were relational. Beer and conversation with a friend, a smile and a hug from someone here at Booth that I haven't seen in a while, a weekly phone call with a friend who lives out of state, or feeling like I was able to really connect and help one of my patients. I have appreciated the practice of taking that moment each day to pause, contemplate, and be grateful. I genuinely feel it has shifted my thinking and has helped me feel calmer, brighter, and happier. But while preparing and thinking about this sermon, I came across an episode of the Mel Robbins podcast called The Science of Gratitude and 6 Surprising Ways You're Getting It Wrong. Wait a minute. I thought, can you get gratitude wrong? In the description of the podcast, it said something like, if you're just writing things down in a journal, you're doing it wrong. What? Though slightly annoyed, I was also intrigued and gave it a listen. In the podcast, Mel talks about the difference between being thankful and being genuinely grateful. I hadn't specifically thought about thankfulness and gratitude as different things, but some of what she said rang true for me. She describes being thankful as much more transactional and superficial than gratitude. Thankfulness is automatic and expected, like when someone holds the door for you, you say, thank you. It's momentary. Gratitude, on the other hand, according to Mel Robbins, is a deep appreciation for something you have received. It is when you are deeply moved, and the emotion of appreciation or connection to another human or a larger force lingers. This kind of gratitude arrives unexpectedly. It often takes you by surprise and leaves a lasting impact. And when we practice and cultivate gratitude, we benefit from that brain rewiring that I mentioned earlier. Now, I don't really agree that you can get gratitude wrong. I do feel deeply moved in the moment, as Robin states. But some of what inspires gratitude within me is much simpler. Wildflowers, or delicious strawberries, for instance. I do believe there are different levels of gratitude, if you will. What I realized I am striving for in my practice of gratitude is perhaps better described as gratefulness. I strive to pay attention and be grateful for the simple and amazing things in my life. I also recognize that I should not ignore or suppress the hard parts of life, which can be challenging for me. Recently, there was a shooting in our neighborhood after our kids were asleep and just as I was going to bed. It was a terrifying, traumatic, and stressful night. I was scared and grateful. I experienced both of these powerful emotions at the same time. Our family was safe, our friends and neighbors were safe. I was grateful that this was the only time in my life up until now that I have had to experience something so awful. I was grateful we were able to have dinner with our friends and process all the emotions the next day. In this case, I didn't use gratitude to escape the uncomfortable emotions, but I did direct my attention to my family and our safety, and it was a good reminder to not take these things for granted. We can be with all the emotions. As Alex L. states, we don't have to pretend to be fine when we are not. We don't need to push through and be strong. Gratitude is a soft landing place that requires us to be honest, open, and willing to look at everything we're facing and not turn away. Gratefulness helps us be resilient. Another resource I found while reflecting on gratitude is Grateful Living, a global nonprofit organization that offers programs guiding people toward a commitment to the practice of grateful living, catalyzing the transformative power of personal and societal responsibility. What I found on the website, grateful.org, really resonated with me and helped me name what I had been struggling to put words to. Gratefulness is greater than gratitude. Christy Nelson, who is part of the Grateful Living organization, explains that gratefulness is an orientation to life. It comes from the inside out. You can cultivate gratefulness. Gratitude, on the other hand, is the feeling, and that is fleeting. Gratefulness is a way of seeing life. It is a lens. It is a proactive approach to greet life. It is not simply a response or a reaction. It is unconditional. Gratefulness is the gratitude that doesn't depend on what happens. Let me say that again. Gratefulness is the gratitude that does not depend on what happens. It is gratitude for life. It is a state of being. It is the inspiration for generosity. Gratitude waits for something good to happen, while gratefulness happens when we are awake and notice. I, like many of you, I'm guessing, love living in Idaho, but sometimes get weighed down with anger and sadness by the hateful legislation that happens in our state and wonder if I can stay. But then, I remember all the wonderful people I know here at Booth and in my personal and professional lives that continue to fight for justice and work tirelessly to help make Idaho better for all. I'm so grateful for all the people who are staying and fighting, and when I acknowledge all the amazing people here doing good work, it helps me hold on to hope and keep on keeping on. When we are stuck in the muck and the hard parts of life, gratefulness can help us shift our perspective, create balance, help us restore our beings, help us get unstuck, learn, and grow. As Brother David Steindl-Rast, the founder of Grateful Living, says, we cannot be grateful for all that a given moment brings us, yet in any given moment, we can be grateful for something. The gift within the gift of any given moment is opportunity. When we learn to cultivate an internal quality of gratefulness on a daily basis, we recognize that we possess the ability to bring gratitude to life. I received permission from Grateful Living to share a video they called A Grateful Day, made by Brother David Steindl-Rast and supporters in 2000. Brother David is known as the grandfather of gratitude. It is one of the most important figures in the modern interfaith dialogue movement. I would like you to take a breath with me as we take the next few minutes to watch this beautiful video.
You think this is just another day in your life? It's not just another day. It's the one day that is given to you. Today. It's a gift. It's the only gift that you have right now. And the only appropriate response is gratefulness. If you learn to respond as if it were the first day in your life and the very last day, then you will have spent this day very well. begin by opening your eyes and be surprised that you have eyes you can open. That incredible array of colors that is constantly offered to us for pure enjoyment. Look at the sky. We so rarely look at the sky. We so rarely note how different it is from moment to moment with clouds coming and going. Open your eyes, look at that. Look at the faces of people whom you meet. Each one has an incredible story behind their face. Not only their own story, but the story of their ancestors. All that life from generations and from so many places all over the world flows together and meets you here like a life-giving water if you only open your heart and drink. Open your heart to the incredible gifts that civilization gives to us. You flip a switch and there is electric light. Turn a faucet and there is warm water and cold water. And drinkable water. A gift that millions and millions in the world will never experience. And so I wish you that you will open your heart to all these blessings and let them flow through you. That everyone whom you will meet on this day will be blessed by you, just by your presence. Let the gratefulness overflow into blessing all around you. And then it will really be a good day.
Yes, today really is a good day. Thank you, Brother David. This is what I hope you all take away from today. We can cultivate gratefulness as a life orientation and spiritual practice. Doing so will bring deeper peace, greater well-being, and an enhanced capacity for joy to our lives. We don't have to ignore the hard things, but we can still be grateful. I want to encourage us all to make gratefulness a daily, moment-to-moment practice, knowing it can help us to be present, expand our perspective, and connect us with a sense of possibility, no matter our life circumstances. May it be so.
Thank you, Sharene. And thank you for bringing the Grateful Living resource to my attention. We are going to do one of the practices from that resource. It is called Stop, Look, Go. This is one of the tools from Brother David Steindl-Rast, who we heard in the video. It's an informal practice that happens in the comings and goings of daily life. It takes only a few minutes and some reflection. So this will be our meditation today. I will walk you through this practice. Get comfortable in your seats or wherever you are at home. And if you'd like, you may close your eyes. The first step is stop. This alone is quite a valuable practice. Can we take a moment in our rushed culture to just be still? In Steindl-Rast's words, we create stop signs in our lives. What benefits might we receive if we were just to be still, even for a moment? What stop sign might cue you in your own life? The second step is to look. Be curious about your experience right now in this moment. What do you see, hear, smell? For what can you experience a sense of gratitude? You don't need to make something up. And if there's something quite difficult going on in your life in this moment, there's no reason to try to change that. Perhaps all it is to remember that you are alive. You are breathing. That there is no moment exactly like this one. The third step is go. What is the seed for action this moment is offering you? Living is an art, and you are the creator. You create it as you go. How can you make it beautiful for yourself and for others? Ask yourself these questions and wait patiently for an answer to just come to you. When you get an answer, you can do it. You can act on that insight from your own intuition and reflection. Stop, look, go. As you bring your awareness back into this space, we will hear our closing song from Michael and Tyler.
I think I'm going to stand up for this one. I've been sitting for too long. I was joking with Tyler, maybe we should call ourselves the band. Double N-E-D, obviously. It's taped. That'll work. So I want to say I'm grateful to Sharene for letting me just say, hey, here are like 10 songs you can pick from and try to make those all about gratitude, maybe. And she did. And I got to play with her today up here, which I'm very thankful for. So you get another camp song just because I love this song. I don't know. I always think of my dad when I hear this song. Driving through Arizona, and I've seldom been thinner, with that chip on my shoulder. This past year I got so much older. Looking back over my life, I spent the most of it tongue-tied. I wish I had more time listening to you speak your mind. And I'm thinking about you every day on my mind, a typical way. Are you a life force? Thinking about you every day on my mind, a typical way. Are you a life force? Drinking coffee black as iron, and man, I couldn't be much higher without falling out of my chair. I've been so numb for so many years, and I'm thinking about you every day on my mind, a typical way. Are you a life force? Thinking about you every day on my mind, a typical way. Are you a life force? And it's so easy to be blinded by the light, to feel lonely in the night. It's blowing in the breeze, babe. I've got dust in my eyes, rust in my mind. I'll be home come next spring. Won't you say you love me later? By and by. Looking back over my life, spent the most of it tongue-tied, pulling my belt tight. And it's just me and the stars tonight. 2 fingers and a tight line, and keep my head above the alpine. Just wish I'd spent more time listening to you speak your mind. 'Cause I'm thinking about you every day on my mind, a typical way. Are you a life force? Thinking about you every day on my mind, a typical way. Are you a life force to me?
Friends, I invite you to rise, embody your spirit, and place your hands over your heart. Look at the faces of those near you as we listen to the words from our closing blessing, adapted from the words of Alex L. I offer the following invitations. Stay open to the beauty around you. The littlest things can make the most significant difference. Greet life with a grateful heart and choose to connect to the moments. Be open to the awe of life. We don't need extraordinary things to happen to be grateful. Being alive is marvelous and miraculous itself. May we take time each day to stop, look, go. May you all be a life force. We extinguish the flame of our chalice, but not our hope for the future, our courage in the face of crisis, or the love we share in the world. Blessed are we all. Go in peace.